Have you ever been in a meeting or read an email and just felt completely lost, like everyone's speaking a secret language? Well, today we are going to crack that office code. We're diving into those essential business English phrases so you can walk into any situation and feel totally confident.
So imagine this. Your coworker comes up to you and says, "Hey, I love to pick your brains." It sounds a little weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, you might be thinking, are they planning some kind of zombie attack? Don't worry, you're not alone in feeling that way. These expressions can be super confusing at first, but honestly, they're the key to sounding professional and, really understanding what's going on at work.
To make sense of it all, we're going to walk through a typical project, right from the very first idea all the way to the finish line. And we'll wrap up with a quick fire round of those acronyms you see everywhere.
Okay, first things first. Every great project starts with an idea, but you really need the right words to get it moving. So let's start at the beginning, kicking things off and collaborating.
So, the first step is almost always to brainstorm. Just think of it like a storm of ideas. It's that creative, no-judgment zone where everyone just throws out possibilities to see what sticks. The goal here is quantity, not quality. At least, not yet.
So, you might hear someone say this. It's really just a clear signal for everyone to start thinking openly and creatively together.
Now, if you're not quite ready for a big group session, you could ask a coworker if you can bounce some ideas off of them. It's just a really casual, low-pressure way to get a quick reaction to an idea before you put it out there for everyone.
All right, so you've got some solid ideas. Now it's time to actually get to work. And this is where clear communication becomes absolutely critical.
A huge part of getting things done is making sure you keep someone in the loop. Imagine a circle of information. If you're in the loop, you know what's going on. If you're out of the loop, you're in the dark, and that's never a good place to be.
You'll probably hear this a lot. It just means, hey, make sure your manager sees the emails and gets updates on your progress. That way there are no surprises down the road.
And what about when a big deadline is looming or something goes wrong? That's when you'll hear the call for all hands on deck. This actually comes from old sailing ships, when the captain would yell it during a storm to get every single sailor on the deck to help. In the office, it means the exact same thing. Everybody stop what you're doing and help out right now.
Of course, no project ever goes perfectly smoothly, right? You always have to deal with different personalities and the problems that pop up.
In pretty much any office, you'll run into different kinds of people. On one hand, you've got the slacker, that person who seems to avoid work at all costs. And on the other end, you have the workhorse, the one who's super dedicated and just powers through everything. It's pretty obvious which one you want to be.
And speaking of problems, you might have a boss who likes to micromanage. This is when they're always looking over your shoulder, telling you how to do every little thing. It can be so frustrating, and just having a name for it really helps you identify that behavior.
Okay, so this happens all the time. A meeting gets sidetracked, or the details start to feel totally overwhelming. When that happens, you need the right words to pull everyone back and get focused again.
It's really easy for a team to get lost in the weeds. This means you're all so focused on tiny little details that you've completely lost sight of the bigger picture. It's one of the biggest reasons projects get delayed.
So how do you escape the weeds without being rude or shutting someone down? Well, there's a simple, polite, and very professional little phrase for that.
You know what? Let's circle back to that later. It's a fantastic way to acknowledge someone's point without letting it derail the whole conversation. It basically says, hey, that's a good point, but it's not what we need to focus on right now. We'll get back to it, I promise.
So you've handled the challenges, you've kept the team on track, and now you can see the finish line. But believe it or not, the work isn't quite done yet. To really get the most out of all that hard work, you have to look back and learn. So after a project is done, the best teams hold a debrief. This is just a meeting to talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what you can do better next time. It's how you grow.
All right, it's time for our final phase, the lightning round. These are the acronyms you're going to see in emails and chats every single day. Let's blast through them.
Okay, here we go. ASAP means as soon as possible. Use this one for things that are really urgent. EOD means end of day, a super common way to set a deadline for today. FYI stands for your information. That's just a heads up. You don't need to reply. And OOO means out of office, which you'll mostly see in those automatic email replies.
And there you have it. From brainstorming to debriefing, you now have the keys to the kingdom. This isn't just about sounding fancy, it's about really understanding the culture of the workplace and getting your ideas across effectively.
So my final question to you is this. Which one of these phrases are you going to try out first? Give it some thought. because actually using the language is the absolute best way to make it your own. Thanks for tuning in.